Hello guys, so I wanted to review this new phone that I got here, the Motorola G9 Plus. So this is not gonna be an in-depth review, because I'm not really interested in all the things in the phone. For me, I use the phones for live streaming, so this is primarily going to be focused on using this phone as a recording tool, as a live streaming tool and things like that. And I want to compare it to my old, much cheaper phone, the Redmi 8. So I've had this phone for 9 months now, and I've been using it to live stream on this channel here. And I have been very satisfied with it. The quality, the camera quality is great. The sound is amazing from the microphones. I don't really use the speaker that much, but the microphone sound when I record, it's amazing. It's even better than a semi-professional Rode video micro. It's even better. The phone, it captures amazing sounds, and it captures everything, and it's really good, the microphone here. So, but there has been a little bit problems after the latest Android update. The phone, unfortunately, some of the things while I'm streaming, the alerts, they are not working anymore properly. They are freezing and things like that. So I wanted to get a new phone, and I thought, let me get a little bit better phone so I improve the quality of the stream also. So I bought this phone. It's brand new. It has the Snapdragon 730G chipset. It has a 64 megapixel camera, and the front cam, the selfie cam, it's 16 megapixel. So this old phone, the Redmi 8, the Redmi 8, it only has 8 megapixel selfie camera and a 12 megapixel back camera. So this one, the front camera is double as good. It's 16 megapixel, and the back camera is like almost 6 times as many pixels, because the Redmi, it only has a 12 megapixel back camera, and this has a 64 megapixel back camera. And here is the phone, guys. It looks pretty cool. This looks amazing, the camera setup from the back, and you would think that it's really amazing, in every way. And the back camera, it's great. The 64 megapixel back camera, it is better than this camera. It captures much more light. It's much better. But I'm pretty disappointed with the front camera. The front camera, it's much more foggy. The people from my live streams, they noticed it immediately and said, your front cam is not as good as the old front camera on the Redmi. So it's much more foggy. The details are not as clear as the old camera. And another thing I'm also disappointed about is the sound quality from the microphones. It's much more. It's not as clear as the Redmi 8. The Redmi 8 sound, it's amazingly clear, and I can put the phone like 2 meters from me and it will capture my voice perfectly. The sound from these two stereo microphones, it's much more muffled, so it's not as clear as the old Redmi 8. And maybe it's some noise cancellation or something, but it just sounds worse than the Redmi 8. The Redmi 8, it captures sound perfectly. It doesn't capture the sound as perfectly. So the back camera is great, 64 megapixel. I have no complaints about that. It is better than the Redmi, but the front-facing camera that is double as many megapixel, it captures things much more foggy. And yeah, the microphone sound, it's much more muffled. I don't know if this can be fixed in an update, or it's a hardware issue that they've chosen some not optimal hardware for the front camera and for the microphones, maybe because they have put the money in the back camera and the display. But I think it's kind of a bad choice that that they didn't, you know, focus on the front and the sound also, because for example me, I use it for live streaming, so I'm kind of disappointed that it doesn't beat this phone all around. You know, it should beat it. On the paper it's better, but unfortunately the front camera and the microphones, they are not ideal, you know, for streaming or for doing a video where you use the front camera or you use the microphones. So, you know, that's basically my review here. That's what I wanted to focus on here, using this phone for creators. So unfortunately it doesn't meet my expectations, and I'm kind of sorry to say that I'm disappointed, Motorola. You could have done this better. I really hope that you can fix this in some updates or something. Get a Redmi 8, try it out, compare it to this phone, and you will see that the sound from the microphones, it's worse on the Motorola than on the Redmi, and the front camera is much more foggy. It's much clearer. This front camera is much clearer than the G9 Plus. It shouldn't be like that because this phone is a couple of generations after this phone. So I'm kind of disappointed. If this doesn't get fixed, then I'm not ever buying Motorola again. You know, I'm not gonna put my money in this brand again, because I'm just disappointed. You know, I have to use it because I bought it, but you know, if I could return it, I would rather return it and wait a little bit and buy the next Xiaomi model, because yeah, this is not okay, Motorola. You could have done this better. You should have tested it and compared it to some other phones to see how it works. You know, not just build it and put it out there. You know, that's my opinion. I don't know how you have tested it, if you have tested it, but it seems untested, you know, or you didn't at least compare it to other phones on the market, even older phones. You know, maybe you focused only on the back camera, but you forgot that some people, you know, use the microphone and the front camera too for important things, you know, other than just Skyping or whatever. So you can see how clear this camera is. If you take a look at my last protest video, day 88, I will put the link in the description also. That's the first day that I filmed with this camera. And there you can see immediately when I turn it on, I start with the front camera, and you can see how much more foggy it is here. And I have tested, it is a little bit dark, but you know, if you look at the earlier videos with this phone, you will also see, even though it's dark, it's much clearer, the front camera. And I've also tested it in light, and it's the same issue. It's still very foggy. It's just not optimal, you know, compared to this phone. When I've had this old cheap, very cheap phone, it's much cheaper than this phone. It's almost half price of this phone. Then I cannot be anything but disappointed about this phone, you know, as a whole. So Motorola, I hope you step up your game. I hope you update it. If you don't update it, then, you know, I'm never buying this phone again. You know, I'm sorry to say, Motorola. So thank you very much, guys. That was it. A short little review here for everybody that's interested. Have a nice day.